So this is one of my favourite quotes about learning and development. Ignorance is not bliss, ignorance is ignorance, by one of my all-time heroes, Jim Rohn. So when I was about 19 years old, I'd been working for a couple of years, and I got an opportunity to apply for a job in a newly formed internal audit team in a health authority that I was working in. And because no one else applied, I got the job. Now, there was me and one other person in this team. That was the chief internal auditor. Now, a big problem was I didn't know anything about what internal audit was or what it was I was supposed to be doing. And more importantly, nor did the chief internal auditor. So I had 2 weeks after I started the role before I was due to go out and conduct the first review of another health authority. So here's what I did. First of all, we did have a meeting with the head of the external audit team that used to review our health authority. And they gave us some useful guidelines and some high-level principles. But probably most importantly, they gave me some contacts of people I could speak to in other health authorities that were in internal audit roles. So I made a few phone calls and very quickly managed to get some time together with some of these people. And then one of them particularly provided me with a document that proved to be really valuable, because it turned out there's a whole professional set of standards and guidelines for the practice of internal audit, and he gave me a copy. And from that copy, I very quickly began to get to grips with the principles of what it was I was supposed to be doing. And I think the key to learning anything, particularly in business, is to understand always the underlying principles. Because from the principles, you can then kind of figure out the practices and the mechanics of what you have to do. He also pointed me at a couple of books, one of which was full of really good mechanical ideas about how you go about doing internal auditing. So from a zero base, very quickly within 2 weeks, I'd read a couple of books, read these standards, really questioned and challenged them, and spent some time hanging around with people that were doing the job. And I was able to confidently go out and project myself as an internal auditor. But I wouldn't have called myself an internal auditor for at least another few years yet, because it wasn't until I'd had practical experience, I'd gone out, tried the things from the books, figured out what worked and what didn't work, so that I could come up with methodologies that really served me well. Then after a few years, I began to feel really confident that I was beginning to get to grips with what the internal audit role was. But where I learned was from understanding the key principles that underpin what I was supposed to be doing, and from then going out and using a combination of what I call trial, error and reflection. So I'd test something out, I'd see whether it worked or didn't work, and then I'd reflect on how things were going and progressing so that I could kind of adjust my course as I went along the way. So I'd like you to think about, what are the gaps in knowledge that you believe you currently have that mean you're not able to effectively do what it is you need to do? And how might you go about beginning to fill those gaps in a way that is efficient for you? Because remember, sometimes we just need to rely on the knowledge that other people have in order to get where we want to go.